Hello, 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 and welcome to Project Possible with me, Rich Leigh. Today, I am excited to be talking to and bringing to you a conversation with Natasha Mo Hunt and Zoe Stratford, co-captains at Gloucester-Hartpury and colleagues at England Rugby. Mo has won 2 World Cups, and Zoe captained England to the most recent World Cup. Incredibly decorated players. Zoe won Player of the Year, World Player of the Year. Mo won Premiership Player of the Year. Just a phenomenal conversation about drive, ambition, success, what it takes to stay at the top, and more. I just really, really loved hanging out with the two of them. It was my first conversation with more than one guest, so I hope it went well. I think it did. Just for me, it was something special. And again, grateful to Gloucester Rugby in Kingsholm for, and particularly Django, James Forrester, thank you for allowing us the space and just being wonderful, wonderful hosts. So thank you. I think you're going to take an awful lot away from this conversation, for which I will shut up. All that remains to be said is, without further ado, I bring to you my conversation with Zoe Stratford and Natasha Mo Hunt. Enjoy. Talk to me about Mozo. So you two clearly don't spend enough time together. You thought, let's start a business. How did that happen?
Kind of came to us really. We've always wanted to go into business together. I think just like with the co-captaincy and like we knew we'd work well together, like we've got similar ideas and stuff. So we actually approached the cafe that we've got now. They were closing down maybe a year or so ago.
Yeah.
And they had signs like closing down. So we messaged them and said, if you're selling whatever, we'd be really keen to take it over. And they kind of messaged back and said, because we were locals in there, it was a keen.
I mean, it's literally hundreds of yards, we should say, for anybody that doesn't know. It's hundreds of yards from the stadium.
Literally. So yeah, they kind of came back and said they were just changing it into like a sandwich place. So they were just changing what they were doing and things like that. And then about 2 weeks after the World Cup, they came back to us and said they're closing up shop and if we'd be keen to take it over and text Maher, and we said yeah. So
it was literally first dibs. Yes, we're in.
Yeah, we're in. Yeah, didn't really think about it. Just thought.
Are you that kind of people usually? That kind of, I'm just going to say yes and see what happens.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. A lot of my friends tell me I have to say no more, so yeah.
Well, it's that philosophy, isn't it, of say yes and good things can happen, say no and good things can never happen. It's that idea of like open yourself up to something. So you threw yourself into it, and I was in there the other day and it was absolutely packed.
Yeah, I think it was just like a really good time for it to happen as well. Obviously, a couple of weeks after the Cup, we kind of just like done this like blowout from being on a massive high and like being in such an amazing place and kind of like had time and maybe the chance to kind of like reset ourselves and reset kind of our mindset and have this other thing that we kind of wanted to put our energy into in having a cafe. And I think like we got it turned around in pretty much a month, just under a month, kind of like sanding the floors between training and painting the walls and things like that.
So it really brings you back down. You've just been there holding the World Cup and then you're like, I'm mopping the floor and I'm cleaning the toilets and I'm getting this ready. But
it was the best thing that happened though, like Zoe said, because like rugby, obviously like you have the ultimate high. Like I don't think we'll ever get anything quite like that again. So then to have something like completely new, completely fresh, that it just revitalized us really. Like we threw ourselves into it. It was super fun renovating, wasn't it? Like we loved it.
Is there a bit of you that's thinking, okay, we've just achieved this incredible thing, over here professionally in terms of the rugby career? Is there one eye on what comes next? Is there going to be an empire of Mozos? Are you going to be the next Costa? What's the thinking?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know how much we can share right now, but we do have our like
open to investors.
Well, yeah, we are. But yeah, we're just starting where it is, and like we just said, we're always keen to say yes to things and see where opportunities come. And I think like that's probably a bit of advice that I'd give to people, like just to say yes to things because you actually don't know what doors can open from it. Like we've opened Mozo, and from that we've had opportunities come of it, and things like that. Just opening a tiny little cafe 100 meters away from Kingsholm. So I think that's kind of probably our mindset going forward, and in terms of business and rugby, to be honest, like we just kind of say yeah, and that's the kind of people that we are.
When you go back, question for both of you, and I was just saying, this is my first ever interview with more than one guest.
Okay.
So I've just bought that thing, this flash looking thing, just so I can do. So I'm incredibly excited to do this. When you both think back, what's your first memory as young girls of rugby? And what's your first kind of happy memory that makes you think, do you know what, I love this?
I think mine is so I was lucky enough to play with my elder sister. I didn't play with my little sister until a lot later, but I think we were playing at Drybrook, and there's like a slanted pitch that we were always on, and I just remember her coming across. She used to play fullback and absolutely nailing someone into touch, and it was just epic. Like, just so proud of her.
I know the pitch, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. But I think like stuff like that, and like going and kicking a ball around with like my granddad and my dad, like learning how to kick on Cinderford Bridge. I don't know if you know that pitch, even more slanted. So yeah, like I think memories like that for me are definitely ones that stay.
How old were you when you were kicking that ball around with your granddad?
14-ish, because like netball was always my main sport.
Right,
so
okay.
The whole way through, I didn't properly take up rugby till I was 17. Played a little bit at Drybrook, like dabbled in it there. But yeah, probably around, I don't know, like 13, 14 when I was kicking the ball. Granddad was teaching me how to kick off too.
And was there a team at Drybrook?
Very, very loosely. So there was probably like 5 or 6 of us that played. Shelley and Gordy Bourne, like father and daughter combo, started it up, which was awesome. Like they were quality. And yeah, like we just did little training sessions and stuff. It started to grow, like it got a little bit bigger. And then we joined with Thornbury, that like was not even that local.
It's not that close, is it?
No, it's not that close at all. But like to play matches and stuff, like I remember went to Bridgend to play a game once. That was super scary. They were like, that was like Wales, like like valleys.
I remember
Wales.
the first time that you crossed that bridge as a young player, and you think they're going to be massive. They're going to be
wild. Like honestly, I think I must have been like 14, 15, and there was this lady who was like twice my size, like height and width, and she had a shaved head. And when we walked out to the warm up, she started roly-polying towards us, and I'm like, I wanted to run away at that point.
And she was the opposition.
Yeah, she was in the opposition. I was just like, what? Where are we? Like, obviously trying to intimidate, but it blooming worked.
That's the weirdest hacker you've ever seen.
No, it was wild, because we were just like these little kids, and she was so big. But no, it was just awesome. Like, it was proper good fun. I played for Malvern Angels when I was like 17. So that was when I properly started taking it up and taking.
Did you have to go out of your way to find that opportunity to play, do you think?
I think I was really fortunate that obviously I'm from Drybrook, so the fact that the local rugby club actually had opportunity for girls to play, because at that age you have to split from the boys. Obviously everyone can play up to a point. I think it's 11 or 12. 12 that you split when like puberty starts happening and all that sort of stuff. So I was super lucky that Shelley and Gordy like fancied it, wanted to put something in place for the girls to turn up and play, which at that age, because I'm a bit older, wasn't really a thing.
What about you, Zoe? What was the first moment where you think, I bloody love this?
I think my first moment, I started up in Scarborough, and the old rugby club, it only had one pitch, and everyone used to train on it Sunday morning. They would just have like little sections of each age group on the pitch. And for the last day at the club, because we were having a new club built just up the road, every single team like played on the pitch. So like in the morning it'd be like the minis, and like you'd change over and it'd kind of like interact, and then you'd
and we're talking up north here, so
up north, so the pitch has got like muddier and muddier through the day. But yeah, I remember like playing against the age group above, and it just been like so muddy. And then my brother's age group would go on, and then later on my dad's age group, well, the adults, were like playing. And I just remember that being such like a kind of a community club, and I think that's what rugby brings so well into people's lives, is just that community kind of feel around things. And I think like so many people were brought together on that day. I remember being in the rugby club until I was like literally like 8-9 years old, being in the rugby club till like 1-2 a.m. Just like causing absolute havoc. But I just remember it just being so welcoming and feeling like really part of that club.
So it was just always part of your life, I guess, because of your dad playing, and it was just right. You're down at the club.
Pretty much down at the club, and that's probably why I got into it, because I'd just be watching my dad, watching my brother play, and I actually used to hate watching them play because it used to be absolutely freezing. But yeah, just getting involved and getting stuck in was kind of the next best thing.
How did you, Mo, balance? Because obviously you came in, it wasn't professional yet, wasn't it? You know, there wasn't anybody getting paid. What year did you start playing professionally?
Senior rugby. So my first senior club was obviously Malvern when I was 17. I ended up going to the University of Bath, so I ended up playing for Bath, which was awesome. And
it's a great setup down there, isn't it? That's where my brother played. He
absolutely loved it. Like, girls down there were quality, and we had an opportunity to like get into the Premiership, and we played at Lichfield against Darlington Roden Park, and actually lost that game. And then because I was on the pathway for England in the under-20 setup, they basically said you have to change clubs to Bristol because we need you in a Premiership side, which obviously didn't go down so well because Bath Bristol, like you can imagine. And then I out of uni ended up getting a job in Birmingham, so moved to Lichfield, and that was the first time I was like working like full time and obviously training full time.
Did you do teaching at uni?
Yeah, so I was a PE assistant for 2 years, and in my second year at King Edward's School in Birmingham, I trained to be a PE teacher, and then moved on to a school in Stafford. And my first full-time professional contract, so that must have been, oh my goodness, I can't even think, like 2010. Mm-hmm. So I did 4 years of like working properly and pretty much like, well, plus uni, but that's not really the same.
What was the balance? What was the load of training and playing like? So you're working full-time?
Yeah.
And training and playing?
Oh, it was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel very like lucky and fortunate that I lived that life though, because I think you understand like the graft that you need to go through. And obviously there's a lot of girls still, like we're in such a professional league now in terms of the PWR, and there's so many of our girls that are still full-time and balancing like real life jobs. Like B's a police officer, like she's on shift work. She has to sleep on the bus on the way to games. Like it's crazy that people are still living that life.
What percentage of players are still living that kind of 9 to 5 plus playing in the Prem life?
Maybe 30%.
Yeah, I would have gone 30.
Yeah. Maybe more.
Yeah,
maybe more.
Basically, unless you're full-time contracted with your country, you're pretty much a full-time unless you can be supported by like your own family and stuff. Yeah. That's the situation that we're in. But yeah, it was wild. Like I was up before training to gym, before work to gym, like probably 6:30, got into work, gymmed, taught a full day, would either like, I wouldn't have to run on the pitch if I was going to training, but sometimes you'd have to run, like do after school clubs, you do lunchtime clubs, then get yourself to training, obviously happen to somehow eat around it as well. Get to training, which was Lichfield, which is probably about 45 minutes, an hour away, train, get home, obviously eat, plan, mark for the next day on repeat. So yeah, it was pretty intense.
What was your last year of teaching?
So I went full time in 2014 because that was the first time we got professional contracts. Obviously in the build up to the Olympics. Yeah. So we won the World Cup. So was a teacher, like basically working at a school in the build up to that World Cup. And my school were incredible. So this was Sir Graham Balfour School in Stafford. But the amount of time that you had to have off, because they tried to make us like almost semi-pro going into the 2014 World Cup. But even that, like we also did a sevens campaign where, so Sevens World Cup in 2013, I was training Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, going back to work Wednesday through to Friday, driving back down, and we had to like strip and make our bed every time because we were staying in basically a 3-bed house in Twickenham with 8 of us that was just like let out, tiniest kitchen ever, like it was absolute carnage. But I'd have to plan and mark for the Monday, Tuesday I wasn't there as well, so like it was just a relentless schedule.
Would you think it would be unsustainable today?
It's not conducive to like elite performance by any stretch. Like that's why my heart goes out to all the girls that are trying to juggle full time and do as much as they can in the Prem. I would say it would be, because you always find a way. Like, you know, when you see like my little sister's a mum of 3, like she's got 3 under 4, and it's not feasible. Like there's no way that she should manage, but you just find a way, and everyone does find a way. So I do think you'd be able to do it, because you've got the right mindset and attitude towards something, I think anything's achievable. But it's definitely not conducive to full-time performance. Like, you don't, like, until you're in that full-time environment, you don't understand how important, like, your sleep, your fueling, the ability to meal prep, like, everything, like, the little bits that make such a difference, which obviously when you're backed up the whole time, like, that's the bit that you lose sight of.
What about you? So what was that flip from your earlier stages of playing into professionalism? And did you ever have that kind of that balance that you had to strike?
So I was lucky enough that when I was 10 and 18, in 2017, the contracts had just come out for the 15s. And so I was kind of in that first round of contracts in the build-up to the World Cup.
Did you get a contract at 18?
Yeah.
Look at us showing off.
That's
amazing.
That is sick.
So then obviously just had to balance the student and rugby, but it was kind of...
Was that at uni then? So you were at uni?
Yeah, uni. Yeah.
What were you doing there?
Sports science. Yeah. Sports science. So yeah, it was all right. To be fair, the hardest thing was I had to play like 80 minutes a week, and then I trained pretty much every day. Like, we had Saturdays off before a game day, but we'd be training Tuesday before game day, Thursday after game day, Friday morning. So yeah, there was kind of like no real balance of like recovery or like the rest sort of things. So it was kind of just like the early stages of rugby and kind of people learning about the S&C side, the rest of the recovery side, and those sides of being a professional athlete as well. And then the contracts, obviously, after the World Cup, they went again. So I think the whole of 2018 was without contracts, and then they came back in 2019. So 2018 just went back to uni, and I was actually injured that whole year. Anyway.
Was that a bit of a blessing in disguise, or to be in to give yourself your body some time to recover a little bit? I think
so, yeah. I think, to be honest, I just had no idea about my body at that age anyway.
I mean, who does? Yeah. Right? You know, because you're so gung-ho at that age, you throw yourself into everything. As you say, playing, you know, I remember that where you play multiple times a week, you train as much as you physically can. Yeah. And you're like, you know, I'll pay for this in 10 years' time.
For context, so basically played a whole World Cup and the build-up with a broken foot.
Did you know it was broken?
I didn't know it was broken, yeah. But like before that, I felt like a niggle, but I didn't realise that niggles were like, you had to tell the physio about them. So I learned a lot about how to work with physios.
At that time, it still wasn't at that time, probably on both, you know, men's and women's. It's like, if you got a little injury, you just play on, play through, right? Yeah. And you hear those stories of, like, you know, he dislocated his elbow and, you know, like broken his eye socket, still played, and it's like, that's not that. We used to aspire to that. Do you know what I mean? Like, as a player, I don't know, as a scrum half, but as a forward, you know, you're like, that sounds great.
Yeah,
you know,
I think I was actually a bit scared because a few years before I'd been in 20s camp and I'd broke my foot in one of the trainings, and I went to tell the physio. And they were kind of just like, is it hurt or is it injured? And I was like, no.
Just a stick, just a tiny, insignificant.
And then literally 6 weeks later, I was still in foot pain. So I was like, I'm going to go and get an X-ray. And it was literally broken. So I kind of got scarred from that moment because I was like, okay, it's just hurting. So I think that kind of was something that was like ingrained in me. So like, if it was just a niggle, just don't go and tell them whatever.
So you're both obviously co-captains here.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the moment you met each other. Can you remember that?
Oh. Gosh, I don't really remember, to be honest.
It must have been England camp.
It must have been England camp.
You've been in and around it, obviously, you know, for quite a while.
A long time.
Yeah, so you're like, you know, a bit of a senior head. What was it like when you first walked in and saw Mo and some of the other players? Were you?
I think Mo was pretty friendly. Like compared to some of the players, I think some players like maybe were like set in their way with how they did things, and Mo was obviously this bubbly character and like very warming. But yeah, I actually can't remember the first time.
I met,
So what is your first memory together? Is it on pitch?
The issue is my memory is terror.
I actually don't know.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's quite a
nice
nice
thing.
It probably
wasn't until you came to Gloucester, really.
Yeah.
Which would have been around then, not that next season?
2019.
Yeah.
Because basically I was flipping between 7s and 15s until, like Zoe mentioned, in 2019, it was the first time that England had contracts for both codes. Previous to that, it was only the code that had like the major tournament at the end of the year.
Right.
So in 2018, there was a World Cup for 7s. 2017 was a World Cup for 15s, which is why the contracts were in for 15. So like we'd flip between them. So yeah, December 2019, I had to make the decision, which was actually one of the hardest decisions I've ever had to make, between 7s and 15s, and pick 15s, and then I had to pick my club. Again, really tough decision. I'm not very good at making decisions, basically, and decided to come to Gloucester and just absolutely loved it.
What made you say yes to Gloucester?
Do you know what? I went to, so there were 4 for me that were like in the mix, which were Loughborough, because I used to play at Lichfield, so they disbanded Lichfield. It was the closest club, and loads of the girls that I used to play with were there. Worcester, because Joe Yapp was there, obviously ex-scrum half for England, bit of a legend in the coaching, right, and stuff, and somebody I would have loved to learn off. Gloucester, because this is home, so my mum and dad are from the Forest. And Susie Appleby was here, who I worked with in the 7, so knew that I got on well with her as well. And then Wasps, because Giselle Mather was my under-20 coach. But that wasn't actually an option, because she got clawed down because she was a scrum half, so that was out of the way. And then, yeah, like I went to see loads of the different clubs, like really enjoyed looking around all of them. And then I came here, I went to see my grandma and granddad before I came here, walked round. I think one of my shirts was up in the clubhouse, like, I wanted to coach alongside. Sorry, Bristol was in the mix as well, but the coaching with that would have been at Bath, so it wasn't in the same place. And everything was in the same place. Like, I just got a really like good feeling about it. Obviously, knew the girls were incredible, and it being so close to home, I think, was a massive pull for me. Like, my grandma and granddad being able to come and watch me play and stuff like that is like really important. So yeah, it just felt right.
And what made you say yes to Gloucester? You should say Gloucester-Hartpury, right?
Yeah, so I was here when they first created the Gloucester-Hartpury team. So Susie Appleby literally came in when we were like 17 and was like, blah, 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 we're making this team. And I was like, all right, fine. Like, wanted to play rugby because we didn't play rugby. Basically, we just trained at Hartpury College. Like, we never really got any fixtures. So like, was just buzzing to get all these games. So I was, for the 2 years that I was at Hartpury, played for the Gloucester-Hartpury team, which we were in the championship. So that was super fun. I think we won the championship in the first year. And then I just get these urges sometimes, and like when I have a feeling I like really want to do it, and I had this feeling that I really wanted to go to Newcastle for uni, so Northumbria, and their girls section was just growing, and the coach up there, he was like super passionate about what he wanted to kind of like instill in the union. He was the Darlington Malden Park coach as well, so he had the kind of crossover. So went up to uni there and played for Darlington for 2 years, which learnt a lot.
All the skullduggery.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Learned a lot. Like, obviously got used to losing, which was pretty brutal, but it grew your character a lot.
We've all got to learn how to lose, right? Not you lot now, but yeah.
And then after the 2017 World Cup, Sarah Byrne, she was one of my closest friends at the time. She was at Gloucester Uni, and we kind of wanted to play in the same team, so we kind of made the decision to come back to Hartpury, which was like a place that I knew. Felt like home, so kind of coming back in 2017 was a bit of a no-brainer. The rugby was good, and yeah, I was just super excited to come back down.
Nice. Let's talk about Gloucester-Hartpury in terms of success. You are unbeaten so far this season. Touch wood. 3 league titles in a row. We got the 3-peat. What's non-negotiable in terms of how you guys win?
I think having good people is our main thing at the club, like definitely stemming from the coaching to the players, like getting a group of really good people who are willing to kind of work hard for each other and learn and develop together has been really key, especially in like the first couple of years when we'd gone from being 5th, 6th in the table, and then bringing in a new group to kind of, we really wanted to push on, and like culture's always been a massive thing. Like, what's Bugs' strap line?
Don't know.
We used to be a club that was good on the sesh or whatever, and now we're. I can't remember. I'm gonna have to ask her that one.
It is good.
It is a good quote, but basically we used to be like really good at drinking, but not very good on the pitch. But now we've got the pitch side right, which is
It's still.
We need to get better at the drinking.
We need to get better at the drinking now. So it's kind of.
Yeah.
On that note, I guess you would have gone out and had a big blowout for the celebration for the 3-peat, and for each one, what was different about each single league win in the last 3 years?
I
I think you can't beat the first.
The first one was so special. Like, it was here, like, full crowd, like, the first time we'd ever done it.
Yeah,
like,
running around. I think, like, Nicole McKellen obviously is incredible at what she does. And Django, like, Django was our CEO at the time, and he did so well with the recruitment, like Zoe said, like, bringing in, like, sort of Alex, Maud Muir, like, Sam Monaghan, like, big ball carrier, Sarah Beckett, that actually is, in large part, the reason for our success, I would say. But, like, they just got it so right. Like, even the shed run, like, we'd never done that before as the girls. And
Queen's Home.
Yeah, Queen's Home. Like, we'd never had a packed out shed. Like, that was always one thing that I said I would love to play in front of a packed out shed. And we got that opportunity, like 10,000 people here, sunny day. Like,
which was, I think, was that double the last biggest attendance? Is that right?
Pretty much, I think, yeah. It definitely, like, shot up from what it was previous. But no, they got it incredibly right. And
talk to me about that shed run. I remember watching the shed run of the men and just dreaming of being in it. Talk to me about what it feels like to run past that packed shed.
It just gets you ready. Like, you've finished your warm up, like, you can, like, settle the nerves a little bit, and you do the shed run. You know they're there to support you, and you get to come back out to that noise. It's just, like, such an incredible feeling, and, like, you know how much they want it as well. So, like, you get that extra burst before you go into the change room and kind of get yourself ready, get yourself sorted to come back out and fight for them as well.
Yeah.
What do you say was harder? Was it when you mentioned earlier on, when you don't forget your first. You've won your first. Is it harder winning that first, or is it harder kind of maintaining that? I don't want to say dominance because that sounds conceited, but let's be honest, there is a dominance and has been for the last 3 years. Is it harder winning that first or maintaining it?
It's a tough one. Like, I think obviously so the first year that we were, like, obviously growing through the ranks, and I think we finished top of the league in each of the years, but finished top of the league, and if you weren't playing against us, everyone wanted us to win. Like, everyone was, like, cheering for us, and because I think, like Zoe said, we've got a lot of good people here, so a lot of people got behind that, and because we'd always been, like, 5th or 6th and just the Nurley team, and it had always been dominated by your Harlequins and your Saracens, like, people were really excited that there was new teams coming through and challenging that, and everyone was, like, really rooting for us in that final against Exeter, other than obviously Exeter. But yeah, the next year, like, no one wanted us to win at all, like, because we'd done it. Everyone was like, right,
everybody loves an underdog, right?
Yeah,
we all love an underdog until we're not the underdog
100%.
anymore.
And I think we're feeling that now, and that's definitely a driving force for us. Like, it's like we want to continue. I think a lot of the girls are so internally driven. Like, a lot of what we do is, like, everyone's got really high standards of themselves, of the training, of what they want to get after. So it kind of takes care of itself. But yeah, there's definitely a bit more heat on it when we go out to play.
Well, externally, it looks like you're just incredibly close. You've got the circus. Where did that come from, by the way? Who kind of...
Secret, I think, is it?
Is it a secret? Okay. So...
Yeah, no one knows the real reason, but Alpez, we can thank Alpez for it.
Yeah.
So, it's that community aspect. I think, in every kind of organisation, whether that's business, sports, or, when you can come together as a community, I'm not a big one for the whole family thing. Again, run a business, successful in that. That if you ever, like I always say, is if you ever join a business and they're like, we're a family, it's like, run, because they're going to ask you to do things that you probably shouldn't be doing. For money you shouldn't be doing it for, and all that sort of thing. But community is massive. The idea that I watch you guys play and I feel like you play with and for each other, and again, you've got the Queen's Home, you've got the circus wrapped up in that. It's like it's a brand. It's a brand of rugby on the field and off the field, and it does feel close. Do you feel that closeness kind of every day when you train and every day when you're playing?
Yeah, I think so. I think as well now, like, we're going into the 4th year, and our team is very similar.
Quite a stable team, isn't it?
So we kind of get, like, used to how each of the players, used to how each of the communicates. So then when you're taking the field, it's kind of like a natural feeling, and, like, I think that what each individual is gonna bring to that game, and I think as well, like, we know how to kind of raise the girls or, like, keep us simmered if needs be, but I think, like, one thing, that the girls are going to absolutely fight and we're not going to let people beat us. I think that's like a big thing that we go out there and that's what we feel when we're on the pitch. But yeah, there's a strong sense of like we know each other. Like when we're turning up to training and stuff, we know what are each other's strengths and things like that.
I always think about elite athletes and golden eras. So you think of, your Messis, your 99 Manchester Uniteds, your I guess, Usain Bolt. Do you know that you're in a golden era of your playing career right now? Like, do you ever think about that?
No.
So, I mean,
You just put that to us before.
yeah, there you go. I told you I would. But I mean, World Cup winners, 3 on the bounce with Gloucester-Hartpury. That's, if that isn't a golden era of playing, and 20, 30 years time when you look back and you go, that was a sliver of my career. That part of it was the the bit. I know you've got all the early stuff, and obviously what's to come, and we'll talk about Lions and things like that. But do you ever take a step back and pinch yourself a little bit and think of what you've achieved and what you're able to achieve consistently?
No, I think that's the beauty of being an elite athlete. Like, you're always chasing that next high, and I think that is like the mindset that you have to stay on top of your game for so long. Like, we've been playing like for a long time now. And I think it is good to reflect. Like, don't get me wrong, it is good to take a step back and like helicopter out and see what you've achieved. But at the same time, do that when you're retired, maybe. Yeah, you always. I think the drive from within is that like, what's next? Like, going.
What is next? Let's get onto that. I'm jumping a little bit ahead here. But what is? So when you think of what's left to achieve, you've both achieved an incredible amount. What is? You've got 2 World Cups. It's like
we haven't done an unbeaten season yet.
Yeah. That is a big one. That's a big one.
Right. I just know that any opposition players listen to that will just hate you all the more.
Don't put that in. It's just but I think we haven't even spoken about it. But that is something that I'm really keen. I know Zoe's really keen, and I think a lot of the girls it will be in the back of their minds. But it was the same like when we were going into the semi-final and final. Like, we weren't talking about the next game. It was just like everything was on that game. And Nivo Dow actually asked me in the kitchen yesterday. So Irish prop who's come over and was like, do you still get motivated to play because that you're going to be so dominant when you play like a lot of these games? And I was like, no, not really. Like, I want to be the best I can be every time I take the field. Like, it doesn't matter who's against me, what's in front of me. Like, and that's what a lot of girls' mindset are in this team, which is what I think makes it so unique.
Can you coach that? Can you give somebody that mindset?
I don't think so.
So it's innate within you and within the team that has been built. Is it a culture? Is it, what contributes to that? Because it's a wonderful mindset. And again, I want anybody listening, watching to really hear what you just said, because that's powerful. But where does that come from?
I think you can grow. I think you can grow with that. Like, I think maybe some of our young girls have grown into like our culture and the way that we see the game. So I definitely think it's like maybe not taught, but do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but like, say if you're with a group,
so you kind of absorb it almost. You come into the squad and you're like, okay, these are the expectations of me. That's where I need to be, because that's where you two are. That's where everybody is. Yeah. Your co-captaincy. Talk to me about your differences in leadership and and what's similar and what's different. Why does it work? Because it quite clearly does.
I think our similarity is definitely like our care and love for the girls, and like our unrelenting like want to be the best. So I think that comes through like honest conversation. So we're like very good at being super honest with the coaches or like the girls or other people that need to, like, if we need to change things or adapt things, like I think we're not scared of a difficult conversation, but everything that we do comes from a place of like wanting to be the best and like wrapped in love. So I think everyone buys into that.
I remember hearing, and I brought this into my business very much, it was an All Blacks kind of mantra of, if you've got something good to say or something productive to say, not negative but productive, constructive, say it within 24 hours or don't say it at all. It's very much a, like, bring it to the table. Like, if it's a difficult conversation you need to have, don't let that fester, don't let that sit. Say it, move on. And hopefully that will contribute to that culture. And I guess it's what you just said is like, you don't let those things sit.
But equally, like, the decision on it, like, I think especially like Zoe's incredibly good at knowing whether it's a worthwhile conversation or not, and just filtering out the stuff that needs to be filtered so that we're not constantly peppering our like support staff or anyone else, both at Gloucester and at England. just to make sure that like when those conversations are had, like it's actually landing and it's really important and it's really worthwhile, because there's a lot of things that you need to fix, like in life, in everything you do. Like you can pick holes in absolutely anything, and having the ability to be like, actually that's really important and that's something we need to get after right now, or like that can wait, or that's actually just like one person's individual thing. How can we support them and help them to get over it, rather than it being like a whole team thing that needs a huge address, if that makes sense.
I think, yeah, no, I completely agree. And I think like a big thing in like our leadership is like instincts and like working off like how we feel about how a group's feeling, or if we should act on something or not. And I think like Mo said before, like whenever we say something to someone, it comes from a good place. Like we're always trying to do what's best for that person or for the team. So I think if we have that instinct feel, then just to follow it and go with it.
I also think like you watch Zoe train, or like watch how she throws herself around in the gym or on the pitch. Like she is the epitome of like follow, like lead by example. Like the way that she just goes about her business, like it's really difficult to not respect somebody like that or like follow in the footsteps, because like she's the world's best in my opinion at actually like getting her head down and doing everything 110%. You can see by her facials. But like
I got lines here.
Yeah, but genuinely, like, and I think having that at the top, like again, both for Gloucester and for England, I think is a large part.
I mean, you won World Player of the Year.
Wow,
And, you know, Prem Player of the Year. And, you know, so we're talking elite here. So the girls have got so much to learn, like, you know, so much to look up to. You know, I'd love to have played in a team where, you know, you've got the likes of yourselves to kind of look up to. So are you a shouty captain? Can you be?
No, not really.
No?
I do our chats on the pitch when we go out, but I would never shout at anyone for anything. Yeah, I like to think about what I'm saying to someone before I act on it. I'm not an impulse person.
So what's the biggest difference in your captaincy styles, do you think?
Biggest difference.
I guess it helps that you're in the forwards, you're in the backs.
I'd say Mo likes to act quicker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like to reflect a little bit more.
Tap penalty? No.
No, but like we have such a good relationship on pitch, because like obviously I like to go quickly, like I love tempo in the game. I'm not stupid, so I will go like when I think that the other team are really flagging, or there's an opportunity for us to like get a bit of life in it, or just raise the tempo a bit. But there was this one game Sarah's away and I went quick. But I think we lost the ball, like our team wasn't ready for it. And then I was a little bit like over aroused. I wasn't really like playing my best rugby anyway. Like I was two the other way. And they ended up getting the ball, running down, scoring. And Zoe just got me by the shoulders, both hands dead in the eyes, and was like, Mo, you're being frantic. Right now, you're being too frantic. I just need you to settle and calm down. She was like, chill out. I need you right now. And like, in that moment, it was exactly what I needed to hear. I think I did go quick one more time, and she just gave me a dagger look, and I thought, like, this is it. Like, I promise I'll be better. But like, even stuff like that, like, obviously, because it's coming from Zoe, and like, we've got such a great working relationship, and you know, like, I never want to let this girl down. Do you know what I mean? So I think having that relationship is really important, but also like Zoe knowing exactly what to say, how to say it, like grabbing me, not letting me have any other thing in my head right there. Yeah, but also like both of us are away from the huddle at that point.
Yeah.
But that's the most important conversation, and that's something that Zoe needed to have in that moment to get us back on track, because obviously I control a lot of the game at the base. So no, little things like that is just an insight.
You have won, we touched on it earlier on, a World Cup more than a decade apart. What's changed in the game? So that's not saying you're old, I'm older, right?
I am,
so,
that's fine.
So what's changed most in the game between winning those World Cups?
Do you know what? I think there's so many things that you can go after so much. Like the amount of support we get, both on pitch in terms of like what England Rugby give you, the support staff around you, but equally like off pitch in terms of the amount of media that care, the fans that come in, the engagement of everyone around it. Media is definitely a big one. The amount of accessibility is huge.
Do you think you and football, like rugby and football, kind of complement each other in that sense? Because, you know, as the women's team are doing brilliantly, the women's football team, you guys are doing brilliantly. Do you think you kind of bounce off of each other and help with the media interest in women's sport?
I think was a massive motivation, like especially for us. Like we watched the semi-final in Camp of the Euros, and like just the kind of inspiration that they were to us was incredible. And then when Leah Williams kind of passed on the Euros at Twickenham to the Red Roses, I think that was like such a big moment. And I think a lot of people kind of saw that and kind of got on the back of women's sport in general. So I think like we definitely have some sort of relationship that we're connected.
Like
we kind of got like a sisterhood,
symbiotic
but we don't really know
sisterhood.
each other. Yeah,
That's it.
We do need a big night out.
Yeah, we
with
do
all of
need
them,
a big
don't we?
night out. That would be really cool.
Have you ever done anything with them? Like, you know, has ever been any kind of PR marketing brand kind of putting you guys together? Let's see if you can take some penalty kicks. Let's see what they're like in the line-out, that kind of thing.
No, nothing like that.
There's been a few collabs with like some of the girls. I know like Jess did something with Alessia Russo the other day. Like little bits like that, but not like wholesale. Would love to take them on. Imagine. We'll play football again.
Are you any good at football?
Terrible. Oh my god, I've got 2 left feet.
You're
If I
any
try
good?
to do
I'm
kick-ups at the
You're
start.
all right.
Yeah. I reckon I would not be that level by any stretch, but I reckon I'd be able to like kick a ball around a little bit.
And just touching on differences as well, that interest from sponsors and things like that. You know, how's that changed over time?
Yeah, it's massively changed. Like obviously, even this year, like I was lucky enough that Volvic came on board. Obviously, like did the World Cup with Antoine Dupont out in France for the men, and then got me part of like a bit of a campaign, like stuff like that. Just I'm a girl from the Forest of Dean, do you know what I mean? Like that just doesn't happen. So little bits like that. Like,
How was that?
Oh, it was mental. They sent me a thing saying, "Oh, we're really keen to record." So I had no idea what it was, and they were like, "Oh, we really need to record this side of the Six Nations. Like, can you send some dates?" So I literally sent them our calendar and was like, "I can do until 2:00 on Monday because we go into training then, or I can do this time." Blah blah blah. And they were like, "No, we want to fly you to Portugal because we want a blue sky." So I had to like go back with the dates. Like it was just mental, and they were amazing. Like they flew my mum out with me, so she got to see that side of it and stuff as well, which was pretty insane. But yeah, just never, even knowing what I was going into, I didn't expect what it actually was when we got there. So stuff like that is really cool, and hopefully like they got a bit out of it as well. But just having brands and sponsors and things like that makes such a difference for the girls. Like not only obviously financially, like the importance of help and support and different bits like that, but also the reach and the growth of the game off the back of it is massively important as well.
And I guess it's a slightly different audience that, you know, I found it's that more family friendly kind of audience that, you know, that vibe with women's rugby as opposed to men's rugby. You know, it feels a tiny bit more dads and sons. Women's, every time I've been, it's felt very family. Is that how you guys see it as well?
Yeah. What did Scaz say?
Yeah, Scaz said, so she obviously was at the World Cup final with us guys, and then she did the autumns for the men, like working on the telly, and she said that it was almost like the black and white version of like the women's game. Like she just felt like being at Twickenham, like she never had that stark comparison of a full Allianz Stadium for the women and then a full Allianz Stadium for the men. So yeah, she was like, I hope I'm not offending anyone, but it just felt like a bit black and white, like in terms of the atmosphere, everything about it just felt so different.
It's funny how a packed Twickenham, I've been to it a few times, like can feel so different.
Yeah.
You know, 80,000+ people one day to 80,000+ people another day can feel so very different. And I wasn't there for the final, but let's talk about it, because 80,000+ people, is that the most people you've presumably played in front of, right?
Yeah.
Talk to me about running out at Twickenham in that final.
I think, to be honest, I think it started from coming off the bus. I think that was a massive one for a lot of us. I think that was kind of the moment where we were like, whoa, this is the final and this is our day. Like just stepping off the bus and seeing the stands lined with thousands of people, and then doing the big walk to, I'm getting goosebumps literally right now. And like doing the walk to the changing rooms was just absolutely insane. Like I saw one of my best friends flew over from Australia. I literally just burst out crying at like I've never emotional
As you're
before,
walking in.
as I'm walking in, and then get to the change rooms and kind of like had to say to myself, right, Zoe, sort yourself out.
Was that captured on camera out of interest?
There is one photo where I look horrendous.
Because again, it's that interaction with the crowd and audience that I think you guys get so well. And it's not to say that people here don't do it. You know, you've got the players that play up to the shed and things like that in Gloucester, but on an international level, some headphones on, stoic, head on. You know, whereas you guys are like engaging. You're like, oh my God, it's you, and you know, there's that. It feels relatable.
Yeah.
Do you know
At
what
least
I mean?
Matthews was stressed because we basically everyone got into the. So obviously it was also mental because it was so loud, like everyone cheering you, and then you just walk through the like double doors into like the corridor towards the change room, and it was just silent.
Yeah.
And everyone was just crying.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, looking around like, is everyone going to pull this together or what is going to happen? Because everyone was just so emotional
You
about
touched
it.
earlier on about that kind of going the other side of arousal, right?
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
so
yeah.
they talk about sports psychology. We talk about that, you know, going like there's a peak performance aspect of arousal. So I guess you then worried, thinking, oh God, we're going over, everybody's going over, but it's blubbing. You know.
Yeah, I think it was a moment that we needed though, because for me, that was the realization that this was our day. Like those people were here for us, and like I think it was so emotional because it was just kind of a new chapter of women's rugby, and like this is everything we'd hoped for, and it was happening then, and I just felt so ready. And that, like, getting into the change rooms, then I was like, there we go. Then like it was just it was crazy.
What was your captain's speech like before going out?
I remember telling myself to keep it quite chill because there was a lot of emotion, and I think through that whole week as well we tried to take a lot of the emotion away from it and just keep it very like process driven. And so I don't even remember exactly what it was at all, but I remember it being like not very emotional. It was pretty like, this is our job, this is what we need to do right now, and just I think I said something about getting into the game as quick as possible, which like I think always helps when you've got nerves, like just making that first tackle and things like that. But yeah, just keeping it super calm, and like I knew the girls had got it. Like we trained insanely well that week and kind of just flick that switch. And
Just feels like everything fitted, everything was moving towards an inevitable outcome.
Canada had been the number one team, I think, in the tournament. Like they'd put on some incredible performances, and I think people were actually like, I think we felt like the underdogs maybe going into that final. Like Canada had played really well, and we hadn't probably played our best rugby in the tournament so far. So it maybe took a little bit of the pressure away from us that they had played so well, and that people were saying like, "Oh, we're England gonna bottle it again," and all this sort of stuff. But once you have that feeling, you have that feeling, don't you?
We had that feeling a while before as well.
Yeah.
We were like, we are not losing it.
When was that? Because that was my next question. Pardon?
Yes.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Talk to me about that.
Well, there was just no other option. We kept saying it to each other. We were like, there's no other option. Like, we've just got to do it. And I think that's, when you have belief, it's half the battle, in my opinion. Yeah. Which we've learned very well from him as well.
Yeah. When did it sink in? You're on the pitch. When did it sink in and you're like, you know, I'm about to win a World Cup. I'm captain of my country in front of 80,000+ people at home.
12 minutes to go when Alex Matthews scored that. I came back to the restart line. I saw my family literally in the crowd just there.
Did you?
And my eyes just welled, and I was like, oh my God, we've won. And I was like, compose, you've got 12 minutes to go. And then just honestly, I could not stop staring at that clock in those 12 minutes. Every break and play, I was like, oh my God. But yeah, just holding on. But honestly, the best feeling.
I wish I could, you know, like just hearing you and watching you both do it, I'm like, I need to feel that one day.
It was like, I don't know how to explain it. It was like, hold this, like, your hands up here for literally years and years and years, and then let them go.
You saw that in Zoe as well. Like, you could literally physically see the emotion, like just the exhale, and you just almost went floppy on the final whistle.
Yeah, it was, honestly, I've never felt a feeling like my whole entire life, and if I could bottle that feeling up and drink it every day, I would.
Talking about the crowds, when did you first notice the shift in crowds in terms of size and that degree of support for you guys? Both domestically and internationally.
Yeah. I suppose it's been building pretty nicely over the last few years. I'd say that a big one was probably playing France at Twickenham for the first time, our standalone game at Twickenham for the first time. And that was probably the first time where we really saw a big crowd. What was there, like
A big shift, 60,000, wasn't it?
60,000, yeah. And that was kind of the first time we'd seen that amount of people, and that was a very special day. But I don't know, probably after maybe before the 2022 World Cup, like we're having big crowds.
Like down in Exeter.
Down in Exeter, yeah.
And Bristol was quite big.
And Bristol,
Yeah, it's been gradually growing. I do think the energy of that first World Cup game was like different though.
Yeah,
like that. It just felt like the whole vibe of the tournament felt so different, and I think that just grew like as we came down. Like definitely when we got to Ashton Gate, the like energy the crowd was giving us back, especially after that Scotland game. Like on the walk around post match, like the amount of people that were just staying was mega. Like my dad said, so my little sister was at the final, and she wanted to go meet her friend, and my dad was like, "Oh, you're gonna have to go because as soon as the final whistle, like everyone's gonna up and leave, and you won't be able to get anywhere." And literally, he said, not a body left their seat. Like everyone just stayed. It was just incredible. Like the energy and the atmosphere was just insane.
So talking about the growth of the sport, do you think professionalism of women's rugby is caught up? Do you think they're on par, or do you think there's work to be done on the professionalism side? We talked about 30% of the squad still being like working and doing 9 to 5s. How do we get to a point of parity where that your whole squad is professional?
Sponsorship.
Okay.
Yeah. I think like filling the grounds as well. I think making events out of game days, like we get a lot of young crowds in, and like keeping them entertained with other things other than just the game. Obviously the game is the main part, but like can there be other fun things for people to engage in? But yeah, sponsorship is also a massive thing, and I think
what can you do as players because obviously you're doing everything you can on the pitch.
Yeah.
What more can be done by management, by other people, the public, to bring those sponsors to you? Is it just more eyeballs? Is it?
I think take the stigma off it. Like I don't know what it is, but obviously like Gloucester men get packed out stadiums week in, week out. Anyone that's ever come to watch Gloucester-Hartpury play or England women play have always said, we've never had bad feedback. I've never known anyone to be like, oh, I didn't enjoy that. Like what kind of rugby are they playing? It's always incredibly positive. Like we love the style that you're playing. It's almost like rugby back in the day. Like we don't box kick as much. There's not as much like of the to and fro, like we try and move the ball around.
That's one thing I remember speaking to somebody, I forget who it was now, it might have been Django actually, talking when I spoke to him about women's rugby, because you're not kicking for territory in quite the same way often as men are, because the ball doesn't necessarily go as far or anything. There's more ball in time play, and that's way more exciting, right? To see the ball in play more, and to see players fatiguing, things like that as a result of that is it's a slightly different game in that sense.
Yeah, it's a different brand of rugby, but like I just think give it a try, like if people haven't seen it before. And also I think there's another element of it of like all of the other nations getting behind their women's teams, the same as like we've been so fortunate with England rugby, like we're still back in time with some of the other even home nations, and the amount of support that they give their girls and what that actually looks like, and whether that's because of the powers that be or whether that's financial or sponsorship or what it is, I'm not sure, but like we've got players over here that are internationals that aren't contracted with their international sides, like bits like that is like, that's crazy.
I guess that's the thing, isn't it? It's wonderful to be the pinnacle and to be the best, within England, but you need everybody else to come along with you to provide that, in 5 years' time, in 5 World Cups time, if we've won the last 6, that's no fun, right? We need everybody to come.
Yeah,
it is. No,
we're not saying that.
But you need and want competitivity, and just talking about some of the home nations, even like both on the men's and the women's side in Wales. It's I just want to see a good game. I just want to see good growth, good development. Because again, when I was a kid, Wales was somewhere that you look to and you think, bloody hell, they produce great players, because everybody wants that red shirt. You talk to a kid 14 years old, what does he want to do? And actually, I remember speaking to somebody and they said Gareth Bale is the reason why there was a massive switch in Wales, because all of a sudden these Welsh boys are going, hang on, I can be a millionaire footballer instead. I don't need to get battered.
Yeah. No, I think like it is true, and for me, it's not even driven out of that. It's driven out of a fairness piece. Like everyone's out here trying to do the best that they can do, and like I don't understand why, just because of the sex that you're born as, like you should have a much easier ride into it for one than the other. Like I just think we're at a point now where that shouldn't be a thing. Like, and yes, we need to fill stadiums. Yes, we need to get bums on seats to get the money back. And I do understand that side of it and the financial implication of it. But if everyone just almost takes the stigma out of it, then there's no reason why it can't just
be honest,
fly.
rugby is not a profit-making sport across the board, right? So,
Unless you're Northampton, they're
true.
doing all right, aren't they?
But, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, take a punt, sponsors, take a punt, and not your typical sponsors as well.
Yeah.
You kind of think, well, who would you like to see, stepping up and supporting women's rugby? Any brands in particular that jump out?
Zara would be good. Zoe is obsessed with Zara.
I think like clothing brands would be like huge.
Do you think that there's a mentality, there's a mindset of big gruff, women's rugby, and it's just not the case, is it? You look at particularly a backline, but the squad. It's but hey, listen, I'm a lump as well. No, I can say it.
I think as well. Like we do have like big players, and I think just putting like those bodies out there in like the high street brands like Zara.
Just for instance, guys, so I don't know if you're watching, but just for instance.
Like would be good because I think that it kind of says to Zara that they probably need to improve their clothing, but as well for young girls who are probably really into their fashion before they'd look at being into rugby, can see these athletes and strong, powerful women like being models and feminine also, and then they can see that they can also do both things, play rugby.
You've just given me the easiest segue into Ilona Maher that you could possibly have given me, because she is somebody that epitomises exactly that: body confidence, body positivity, speaks massively outside of rugby. Outside is what is like 5 million followers or something. I forget how many millions of followers Ilona's got. But that player that can step up and outside of rugby, a Jonah Lomu type character, what do you think makes somebody like her stand out? And
how relentless she was.
Pardon?
Like how relentless she was.
Yeah.
So she posted like 5 times a day all the way through 2016 Olympics and like continued to do it and just went after it, just got her content out there, and then did obviously exactly the same in 2021. In Tokyo, and then it just flew off the handle because I think she was doing like Love Island in the Village or something. So I think for her she'd strategized it, like she'd had that plan, she knew what she was going after, and she was incredibly like diligent in terms of putting content out there. I think the difficulty is so for me, I'm a bit autistic about my routines and my rugby, and that's always the thing that I'll come back to. So I would not have thought about being on my phone as much as she was in an Olympic Games, for example, but that is your window where you need to go after it. So I completely understand why she's done it. Unbelievable what she's done and what she's managed to achieve off the back of it. Obviously, set herself up for life. So I think, there's just a way to, for me, if there's a way to balance both of that would be incredible.
And, I think sponsorships and things but personal sponsorships will have come her way as a, separate to a group team culture of sponsorship, right? She brought eyeballs to rugby, and when coming to Bristol for that short stint, inevitably that was what the conversation was about, and I felt for her a tiny bit. I felt like, oh Christ, you're gonna have to play the best game you've ever played in your life, just this first, these first few games. But are there any other players that within the England camp, within Gloucester-Hartpury, kind of you see as okay? I can see how you could build a brand yourself within.
I think Ilona's been like a massive advocate for female rugby players, and I think she's brought so many eyeballs to the game. And I think when she had her time at Bristol, she kind of got a couple of their players engaged in like similar content, and like they saw the opportunities. So the likes of Sarah Byrne, like she's really growing her profile and being an advocate for female rugby players' body shape. So I think it is great to grow the game through social media. Obviously, I think that's the way the world is going. like young people are on social media all the time, and for them to be able to see content like that, which is super positive, and super engaging, I think is fantastic.
Is it something you'd do?
I'm a technophobe, honestly. I literally stare at my phone, I start doing a video, and it would take me about 5 hours to do one TikTok.
It's I read the other day that success is on the other side of cringe when it comes to this sort of thing. So anybody listening, watching, any rugby players listening and watching that, you know, wants to build your brand. I mean, you look at a Pollock, right? You know, does he care that some of what he does is cringe?
No.
Does he?
I reckon he regrets the lip lipping.
I mean, that was weird. Right?
Yeah, I don't think he gives.
I reckon he regrets that. That was terror. But no, other than that, I don't think he cares now.
Do you think that as the sport grows, there can be such a thing as one of those players that, you know, almost, you know, lives outside of the sport in too much of a way that it kind of puts pressure on their performance?
I think that's kind of what like, if you put yourself out there, you kind of maybe do have those expectations. Like when Ilona came to the PWR, I think she did have that expectation that like she had to perform, she had to kind of be outstanding. But I think from, say, Ilona's and Sarah's point of view, I think they are just trying to promote women's rugby. They are trying to promote it in a real positive way. And I think like how they played doesn't really matter, like, because they are being who they say.
Sarah, as in
Burns, sorry.
yeah.
Yeah, they are being who they say they are, and like I think the likes of Burns, she is super diligent and super dedicated to her sport anyway. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think there is an added pressure with more eyes on you. So like take Ellie Cordon, for example.
Yeah.
Like people expect her to be the greatest when she's on the pitch. Like every time she plays, expecting her to do something special or to score tries. But the reaction she gets off the back of it when she does something like that is the thing that drives her. So as long as you can deal with it in terms of like you're going to get lows at the same time, like you're not always going to be able to be the best player on that pitch. And I think that's incredibly important to like have that resilience like yourself and just be okay with whatever you're doing. I love social media. I think it's brilliant, but I also think that like there is a danger with like the pressure and the added stress that comes with it.
Rugby's always been one of those sports, hasn't it? It's, you know, we're all with and for each other again.
Yeah.
And, you know, I remember, you know, the lad I used to play with, it would wear odd socks, and the coach was like, nope, you know, no, you're not doing that. Okay, so the individuality almost, I'm not saying this happens now, but everybody always talks, Haskell talks a big game about, you know, let's build these brands of players and, you know, all of this. It's like, you kind of get that knocked out of you a tiny bit in some of the younger, or some of, I guess, earlier developmental stages of rugby, because it's like, you know, you're not allowed to be bigger than the team.
I think you did. I don't think it's the case
Is that right?
anymore. Yeah,
of course, you're telling me that I was born in the wrong generation.
Yeah. I think it has had a massive shift in terms of that. Like I think, especially at England and here, like people are allowed to be authentically themselves. Like it's really encouraged. Like we want people to feel safe in an environment where they can just be who they are and want to speak freely and have those conversations and do whatever you want to do. So obviously within reason, like if you're coming against like what the values are of the club or the team or anything like that, then you'll be pulled in line. Yeah. But most of the time that's not the case.
And I think that's what has attracted so many people to our sport. I think especially with the Red Roses, we've connected with people through our social media channels. Like Maud, she does the weekly vlogs, and I think people watch that and feel like they really see and get an insight into what we do in the week and like know us as people. And then you see them after the game and they really want to have a conversation with you. So I actually think it's really helped in terms of engaging and bringing new audiences in, that we can show our personalities to the audience, because they get to see us on a deeper level rather than just being rugby players on the pitch.
100%. Like the amount of signs we have from like the Good Scaz Rugby podcast that I do, like honestly every game we go to now, or I think Scaz once spoke about liking white chocolate, and she just got brought so much white chocolate at the next game. Like,
hey, I love white chocolate, guys. Yeah. Watching, listening, come on.
It's crazy. Like people genuinely come with gifts because like they care so much about what we're doing, and they do feel like they know us. Like, and they do know us because we give so much. Like I think, especially in women's rugby, the girls are so generous with how much they give of like them as a person. So
what's your favourite kind of chocolate? What should somebody bring next? Next game.
Goodness.
Double decker.
Double decker.
You love a double decker. That is the weirdest answer I think I could
honestly,
probably have
didn't think
expected.
What, out of all the chocolate
It feels like a really northern chocolate bar. I don't know why. There's just something about it. Just feels like right,
Yeah,
stodge.
That is
chocolate.
so all over, yeah, like absolute balls. Chunky, get in, yeah.
What's yours?
I don't know, I like pretty much, what did you say? A flake. Stop.
Flake.
Like an Oreo,
Yeah.
like a Cadbury's, some at Cadbury's. Like
Nice. Nice. Let's talk about the Women's Lions Tour then. So, first time that it's happening. How do you both feel about it, first of all, as an event, as a concept?
I think it's super exciting. Like, I think it's like something that's never been done for the women before, but we've kind of always maybe had a hope that it would, and for now it to happen in, next year is super exciting. Like, there's so much history of the Lions Tour, and we've seen obviously the men, and now for there to be like a big tournament every 2 years, I think it's super exciting and incredibly motivating.
Yeah, definitely. I think also adding to that, like I've said this a few times on interviews, so she's probably bored of it, but I've been incredibly fortunate that I've been part of like a couple of GB campaigns for the Olympics, and just having that mix of different people, different perspectives, different cultures is amazing. And like the thought that would be in a 15s thing as well, like it's almost Barbarians-esque, which again, like I've been lucky enough to play in, and it's just the best week of your life. So I think it's mega.
Do you think that there's a risk, and this isn't a prepared thing, but that obviously England is so good right now that it's going to skew so England heavy that we might not get the interest from the other home nations?
No.
No?
I don't.
Good, shut me up. Tell
No,
me.
I honestly don't. And I think on that point, like I think it's really important that it's the best people, because that's what the Lions has always been. Obviously, last time out for the men, it was a really heavy Ireland contingent, but Ireland were the best team at that time, so there's no reason why it shouldn't have been. I also think when you drip in like certain players from other nations, like you see how incredible they are. Like, don't always get the opportunity to shine because of their role within their home nation, but when you put them into like a different squad, like Rona Lloyd is one of the top try scorers up at Sale doing bits. Like Lisa Thompson's probably one of the most skilled centres I've ever been part of playing with from the sevens. So like you've got people like that would be incredible, and like ultimately like you just want the best people as well. That's what the Lions is about. So you might not even get the best rugby players, but I think that bit has to be an element to it, because you're away on tour, you've got a really short amount of time to gel, and you've got to go out there and do a job against New Zealand, who are going to be absolutely firing for it.
I mean, it's going to be incredible. I can only imagine it. New Zealand are going to receive it, just as they do any Lions Tour, huge, big ceremonial. Have you two allowed yourselves to consider whether or not that red jersey is within your grasp?
I think it's like a massive motivation now to push on and get better. I think that's kind of how I see it. Like, the chance to be able to do that is super exciting, but now we're competing not just against England, we're competing against the rest of Britain and Ireland. And I think for me that kind of gives me that extra urge to get better and to develop my skills and to get fitter and stronger. So I think that's kind of like the motivation going into these next 2 years.
What would it mean to you to play for the Lions?
It'd be incredible. Honestly, I think, the first one ever, like, it would just be...
It's historic, right?
Historic.
What about you? What would it mean if you were to...
Same. It would be everything. Like, obviously you can't have it as a realistic goal, because there is so much rugby to go like under the bridge before that. You don't know who the coaches are, you don't know what form you're going to be in, like injuries, everything else. So like for me personally, it won't define my career, but it would be the absolute cherry on top of it. Like it would be an incredible thing to do. I think I spoke to Ugo Monye about it, and he was just like, you should retire and then like try and do the media bits and stuff. And I was like, yeah, but you've done Lions, like what was it like? He was like, no, it was the best time of my life. So I was like, what? And he was like, no, yeah, you should definitely go for it. You should
Don't mind me asking, so you'll be 37?
I will actually be 38.
You'll be 38?
Yeah.
Okay. But
I think it's a really hard one, because I think, like for me, as soon as you get to a certain point, like your age becomes a factor, and if nobody knew my age, I don't think anyone would talk about it. Like, I think I'm playing some of the best rugby that I've played. I am loving what I'm doing. I'm enjoying it. I feel like I feel fit. I definitely feel like I could be fitter, which to Zoe's point is something I'll be going after. But yeah, like I think if it wasn't a factor and people didn't actually know, no one would bat an eyelid. So I don't think people should be written off for their age. Like I want people to judge me on how I'm playing the game, and as long as I'm playing the game and holding my own, then hopefully I'll be in the mix. But
Zoe, the obvious question is, what would it mean to you if you were asked to be captain of the Lions squad?
That's not obvious for Zoe, by the way. Like, Zoe,
it's really obvious to us, right?
Zoe doesn't think like that.
You captain your country, you co-captain your club. Like it's the club, it's the country captains that are considered generally. You know, you think of your Johnsons and you know, so it's probably not outside of the realms of the coaches, the selectors thinking. So what would it mean to you?
Yeah, it would be like an incredible honour to kind of represent, obviously, the British and Irish Lions is incredible. But yeah, honestly, I can't even think of it, actually. I don't know, it would be insane, yeah.
What a really lovely, humble answer. But
I have no idea how to answer that one. But
how do you think she'll get on?
Oh, amazing. Like I said, she's somebody that you'd run through a brick wall for. Yeah, yeah, we do. Yeah, I'll go after you though. You can break it down. No, she's amazing at what she does. Like I cannot speak highly enough of Zoe. She's an unbelievable leader and someone that everyone has so much respect for. So she would be incredible at it.
Has it come out yet? Then coaching squads and things like that.
No, that was a little while away.
Yeah.
When would selection be then? If we're talking,
it literally.
I know you said there's a lot to go under the bridge between now and then.
Yeah, over a year.
Yeah.
I think the exciting thing is like nobody knows about it. So obviously with the men, they sit like and watch a telly and just see if they're in it. Like
we don't know how it's gonna happen.
Things like that are just crazy. Like obviously Nike coming on board as the main sponsor, which is awesome.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah, it's amazing. There are so many like really exciting elements to it. And you see the little engagement days that they're doing, which they're doing like amazingly well as well. Just the excitement around it, like building. But like Zoe said, there are so many people, like pretty much like 4 squads that all have their sights set on it. So it's going to be incredibly hard to like obviously get the plane ticket, and a lot of people will be going after it.
I just think it's going to be so good for the game.
Yeah.
So incredible for the game to see you guys, hopefully, your friends, your colleagues, pulling that shirt on. It's just, it'll move. I'm dad of 4, three are daughters, all sporty, and like just, again, part of this podcast is, and it's not just obviously sports orientated, but for people to look at successful people and why they are who they are, the success they have, but also how you get there. And also the humility with which, as I say, you just kind of answered is powerful. So, no, thank you for casting ahead. And I know as a player where selection's so important, and you don't want to be cocky, you don't want to, be like, oh yeah, of course. But it would be amazing to see. It really would. I can't wait for it for great, for Britain and Ireland. I think it'll be amazing. What do you wish that you both known at 18 that you know now? As players, maybe. I mean, it doesn't have to be as players, actually. But let's go back to your first professional contract.
I think it'd be something like trust the process, like just having belief that like it'll work out, and just if you work hard, then you'll be all right. Pretty much, yeah. So
There's a bit of West Country in that.
So
you'll be all right, won't it? Be all right with me, perhaps.
Been down here a few years.
Yeah, it comes out sometimes in this, and sometimes I get Welsh. I get you a bit Welsh. No, Gloucester. I'll have a few drinks and you'll hear it definitely. But what about you? When I know 18, 18-year-old Mo, what are you thinking?
I think like for me, enjoyment is the most important thing. Like it's so hard when you're so driven and you're constantly on it and pushing for the next thing and pushing to be better, to actually like enjoy the process of it. And I think whether that's enjoying the graft, like enjoying like, I don't know, the time with the girls or anything in between, like there are times when it does get tough, but finding that little bit of enjoyment in whatever you're doing, I think is hugely beneficial, and probably a reason for our success of late, because we genuinely love playing the game with the girls, and that's part of it.
Is it hard to find time to hang out with each other and to build that bond outside of training, outside of playing?
No, we've got a new club, haven't we?
Yeah. We have the Sherry Sisters.
Sherry Sisters, Sherry and Whites.
What's that?
We're basically rating the clubs around Gloucester,
Pubs.
pubs around Gloucester, and see
Really?
which one's the best one.
Yeah.
So it started last Thursday, and we started pretty well.
It's the top 4 in the whole of the UK. That
Where's that?
The Pelican Inn.
Oh yeah. I know loads of my mates get into
It's a
Pelly.
proper good pub.
It's a good pub. You can't swear in there, can you?
Can you
You're not allowed
either?
to swear in there. Yeah, I got friends that get told off. As I said, I've been there a few times with them, and if you swear, then the bar staff will be like, "Stop it."
Oh, even better. Yeah. Wow.
There we are.
There you go. Family
No,
values, guys. Family values.
It's top 4 in the
You're
UK.
10
someone
pints
told me.
in. 10 pints in, but family values. Okay.
Love it. Yeah, it's top 4 in the UK, so I think the only way is down.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. So who's your culture secretary type person? Who does all your
We're not in
entertainment?
there.
You're not in the social group.
That's why we're doing Sherry and Whites. It used to be us. We took a bit of a back seat and then we did pottery for 3 years running. So we're
Pottery?
trying to take the
Paint
reins
pottery,
back.
yeah.
Yeah.
Ghost.
Yeah, we're like, girls, we need to sort this out.
Do you know, actually, I had a great time with pottery.
Yeah.
When I did
It's
it in Bath
fantastic.
once, and I loved it.
Yeah.
We do have a local pub, but every time we go in it now, it just goes down because it is a good place, but it's just a bit homely now, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're a bit used to the
Yeah.
surroundings.
Definitely.
Yeah, but they're great supporters.
Where's that?
Literally just across the road from Kingsholm.
As in
Yeah.
the Kingsholm Inn or Teagues?
Teagues.
Teagues, yeah. Not
Yeah,
Teagues, I mean.
We love Teagues. We love Gary.
Who doesn't? Teagues is
Yeah.
a great place.
But the
yeah.
girls just don't buy in anymore, so we need to like freshen it. Like, no issue with the not drinking. Like Zoe and I actually gave it up for 13 months pre-World Cup, but
Nice.
you still got to go. Like,
Yeah.
just show face,
Being
just give us a
part of
bit.
Yeah.
Just put your phone down and let's have a little.
Yeah.
How do you find that with some of the younger players in the squads?
The buy-in to socials is tough.
Mm.
The buy-in to socials is very tough. And we do try. We really do try.
We've got incentives now for the Sherry and White, for the Sherry
Wow,
Sister Club.
you're
We're
incentivising
getting-
to have fun.
badges.
Badges.
So you can only get a badge if you attend that
Like a
pub.
blue pizza badge.
And-
You
yeah.
can only get one.
And
It's special.
we're not going to say a word about it. And to find out about it, you have to come.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I know people are going to be intrigued. And
Do you
you don't get added to
Do you
the
do
group
that kind of
actually.
no phone policy, or like comedians do that, don't they? Stand-ups, like you walk in,
Yeah.
it's like phones in a bag, phones are away.
No, we don't. And
Because
And also, like, sometimes people do need that time, like,
Yeah.
of just chill. Like, we have got some people that, like, they don't want to sit and chat to everyone the whole time, which is completely fair. Like, that's their personalities. So you don't want to, like, enforce too much of that. Like, it's just about understanding. But also, like, I do think there is part of it where it's like, just give a little bit sometimes.
yeah, well, you have to. And I mean, again, being part of rugby teams most of my life, it's that thing of you do have to give something, right?
Yeah.
You've got to give something to yourself to it. Who's the biggest loose cannon in the Gloucester-Hartpury squad?
these days,
Shut
up.
I reckon it's probably one of us.
Oh, really?
It will be
Oh,
one of us
brilliant.
now, yeah.
Yeah.
And what about England?
Back in the day, we'll talk in like Kelly Smith.
Kelly
Yeah.
Smith.
Kerry Large.
What a girl. Kerry Large.
Yeah. There were some wild sauces back in the day.
Yeah. We miss him.
Yeah.
And what about the England squad? Who's the biggest loose cannon? The joker of the pack?
We're
Again?
probably last man standing.
We were, yeah. We were
Oh, you
also-
are?
At
Yeah.
the final,
Yeah.
we were the last one standing. Bots
Bots is up there.
Yeah.
Mac is
Oh, Bots
Mac's either like 100 or she's just not there.
Yeah.
her videos
But
are
she's
brilliant
incredible.
post World Cup as well, weren't they?
She's been 100 recently.
Yeah, she is incredible.
She's
Yeah.
still the
She
only-
come down yet? Because like she wouldn't stop posting. She was like, I don't know what to do with myself.
Yeah. She stole the last order's bell at the pub so we couldn't get kicked out. She took it off the wall. It was
Good
brilliant.
effort.
Yeah.
Love it. If a young girl is watching, I know you've been asked this question before, but it's an important one. If a young girl's watching, listening, which probably they shouldn't have been, but if they hear about this, we do shorts, we do clips, and this gets out there to them. What do you want young girls to take away? What would you say to them about coming into the sport of rugby?
I think coming into a sport like rugby is a place that you can be yourself, like you can feel confident, like you'll be accepted. Like we literally are we've got a group of such different people, like we're all a bunch of weirdos really. We just come together and just click, but just also the fact that you get to use your body in the most powerful way possible. And I think that's super like strong and powerful, and I absolutely love like being able to do that, and like the kind of feelings that you get from it is like incredible. But yeah, to just say it was such a welcoming sport, and the community vibe is just incredible.
Thanks about yourself. Anything you'd add to that?
I don't think much to add, to be fair. Like, obviously the people that are involved in it as well.
I think one thing that used to be said to boys in particular, and you know, does extend to girls, is it is a game for all shapes.
Yeah.
And that's you know, you kind of touched on it a second there, but you know, that thing of no matter how tall you are, you know, what size you are, there's a position and you can be the best at it.
Literally.
And that's a powerful thing. And I remember that, you know, being something wonderful as you're changing and growing, and puberty does all these weird and wonderful things to you. Like, oh, okay, so you know, I find my spot, I find my place.
Not only that, but it's needed. Like, you couldn't have we couldn't have a team of people that were my stature or Zoe's stature or like Maudie's stature. Like, you actually do need the different body types to be able to have like the fully functioning team and the best team around. So yeah.
Did either of you ever play Jonah Lomu Rugby back in the day?
You know what?
Jonah Lomu Rugby, the PlayStation 1 game. There was a thing where it was like cheat code. If you won all the cups, you got access to a team of Jonah Lomus, where it had Lomu in every position.
But to be fair, for Jonah
no,
Lomu, you
there
probably
it
could
is.
play.
Yeah.
Well, he could have played every position.
Yeah, yeah,
Right? Who? That's a question then. Who in the women's game?
Mia Venner.
Not nine.
Yeah. Is that
No,
your
go
answer?
on. Yeah,
Who in the women's game could play every position and still have a good, you know, give it a good crack?
Yeah, Mia Venner. Oh,
She could
yeah,
play
she
both.
would break.
I'm basically a big fan of Mia Venner in it every time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm my biggest fangirl.
Love it.
Who?
Meg Jones.
She couldn't play prop. She'd get bent out.
I think she'd give it a good go.
She
Tight.
would. Tap. You're thinking like centres, aren't you?
That's a good
I'm
shout.
thinking centre or back row, I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Not me personally. My back and
Here you go.
break,
You're
that was a
saying,
nine.
right, I'll play loose head next week. I'll play fullback the week after.
I
Zoe
couldn't be a
used to
prop
play
either.
fullback.
I did.
You're
used to
a
play
fullback?
fullback.
I did.
Oh, okay.
I was a fullback.
Okay.
Yeah.
Get her in the backfield. She's a menace.
Not a kicking fullback, mind.
Yeah. I had a season at inside centre. I had a season at inside centre once, come a back rower, and I kicked it once, I think. Yeah, it was not for me. Gosh. I ask at the end of every interview, I ask this one question, and it'd be great to get an answer from both of you, because it is all about possibility, positivity. Anything is possible if. Can you complete that sentence for me, please? And I'm talking to, again, World Cup winners here. You know, this is so you've achieved.
You work hard.
Yeah. Mine would be like, you've got the right mindset.
Yeah.
You believe, and then you like the work rate comes with it.
Do you think you can achieve just with talent alone?
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
Thank you very much.
Thank
I really
you.
appreciate that. Thank you so much, guys. That was a lot of fun. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
I hope you
Awesome.
enjoyed it as well.
No, all good. Thank you.
And there you go. It's kept within 90. That was a big thing for me. So
Legend.
yeah.
And we are back. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Brilliant role models, doing incredible things for the game, and just a pleasure, truly, to have that conversation and bring it to you. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. projectpossible.substack.com. You'll get a weekly email with each episode. Or subscribe wherever you are right now. If you're on YouTube, subscribe, click the bell. It'll notify you when a new episode goes live. If you are on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, just click subscribe. Most people don't, most people won't. It matters. It makes a massive difference to the visibility of the podcast. It helps with getting these incredible guests on. Leave a review. If you haven't, you don't need to write words. Just click the 5 stars. It makes a difference, as I say. Thank you. We are back next week with the winner of Channel 4's Hunted. I love the programme. Been watching it for years, and I won't ruin who it was, just in case you, between now and next week, haven't caught up or would like to. It's a great episode. I had so many behind-the-scenes questions, and this conversation answers lots of them. So it was Hunted is, if you haven't watched it before, a programme where 7 pairs of people try to evade capture by some of Britain's finest police and intelligence officers, and it's brilliant. It's such a great watch. I think you watch it and you're screaming at the TV, don't do that, I'll do this. And I think after this conversation next week, you'll realise whether the winner won £110,000, the biggest prize ever on the show. You'll realise why some of the things that we might find ourselves screaming at the TV it's not as easy as all that. Brilliant episode. Loved chatting. Again, trying to be coy. Go watch it. No spoilers just yet. But next week, all of the spoilers. Okay? Right. Have a good one. Speak to you soon. Bye.